Okay, Ollie. The class's first question is, were you born blind?
No, I was not born blind. I went blind because I had cancer.
And what kind of cancer did you have?
I had anaplastic large cell lymphoma.
And it was during a relapse that you went blind, right? So what happened that you can't see? Like what happened in your brain or in your optic nerves?
The cancer got into my optic nerves in my cerebral spinal fluid.
Yeah, cerebral spinal fluid.
And because of that, they kind of attached themselves to my optic nerves and unfortunately damaged them. So now my optic nerves don't send notifications to my brain of what the pictures are.
Exactly. And can you see anything out of either eye, or is it all pitch black?
It's mostly pitch black. I can see a tiny bit of light through my right eye, but my left eye is, the retina is fully detached from my eye.
What are your hobbies?
My hobbies are playing hockey, doing skateboarding, karate, and beep kickball, as well as the occasional building Lego and all these different things.
Right. And so do you want to tell them a little bit about how you do all of those sports when you're blind and you can't see?
I do them by using adapted equipment, so special footballs and soccer balls and all that, and like hockey pucks and all that would have like kind of bells in it to make it easier. And for instance, like my baseball, instead of having a bell in it, it actually beeps instead. So some items will either beep or have a bell in it. For the blind hockey puck, it's big and metal, and it has ball bearings in it to make noise on the ice. And so we just basically use some adapted equipment to play, and other than that, we do pretty much everything using other regular equipment as well.
And do you ever use your white mobility cane to do any of those sports or any of those things?
Not often. I mean, considering in hockey you use your hockey stick as your cane, and in skateboarding you do use your mobility cane, but not really as like a mobility cane. I mean, it's more like a tool that you use to, shall I say, assist you when it comes to doing ramps and different things. I usually use a special type of mobility cane for my skateboarding. It has a special rubber tip on the end of it, so that whenever I need stability, I can use it to lean on. And it also acts as a mobility cane as well, so that when I'm on my board, I can actually feel my surroundings. So, and then the only other sport I use my cane for is beep kickball, where you have to run the bases, and that's the only thing I use my cane for.
Cool. So, Ollie, the next question is, do you have a guide dog?
I do. She's right here. Her name is Hope. She's the biggest suck on the planet. And I love her very much. She is a buddy dog, so she is still a service dog, but she's not a full-fledged guide dog. She still works the same way and acts the same way through the CNIB. And what a service dog for a blind person would do is help them navigate a street or navigate to where they want to go, and basically they be their eyes. So the handler would give them a series of commands, and the buddy dog or the guide dog would respond to those commands and bring the person where they wanted to go.
Okay, Ollie, the next question is, do you know how to use and understand Braille?
Yes, I do. I can read and write Braille. Right here I have the Perkins Brailler, which I use to Braille, and a sheet of paper. I'll show you how it works. I'll just insert the paper here, and then what I do is I'll clip that. There's a little metal bar here, and I'll just clip it down so that holds the paper in place. And then I take these two round handles here, and I start reeling it in. So the paper will go all the way into the Brailler. And there's 6 keys to Braille, 1 space bar, two other keys, which is a backspace key and a down a line key. So if you want to go down a line on the Brailler, like make a new line of words, you just press this key and the Braille paper will go up.
Okay.
So
just show us how you write something in Braille.
How I write my name.
Okay.
So you use these 6 keys and combined the dots to make a letter. So for instance, my name is Ollie. So capital is a .6. So I'm going to put a .6. Then I'm going to put an O, which is a combination of dots 1, 3, 5. Then I'm going to put an L, which is dots 1, 2, 3. Another L. And then I'm going to put an I, which is dots 2, 4. And then an E, which is a combination of dots 1, 5. And then I have my name spelled.
Okay, I'm going to see. Can you move your fingers so we can see if we can see the Braille? There we go. They can see it.
And then now, once I'm done writing, I just keep reeling the paper out. And by doing that, I can take the paper out and show my finished work.
And then show them how you read it. How do you read it? Just put it beside you.
I use one finger to read Braille. So you use your pointer finger. Sometimes if you're reading like a full paragraph, you'd use 2 fingers. The second one would go down to the next line, and the first one would stay at the top to read it.
So that you know where you are.
Right. For this one, since I'm only reading my name, I only need to use my one finger.
Right.
So it's capital, which is a .6. Mm-hmm. O, L, L, I, E.
Excellent.
And now I would like my mom to write something in Braille, and then
we don't have time for that, but what we're going to do is I'm going to show them what the Braille, so there's also a Braille code, so Braille is 6 dots.
But come on, just try it. I
Braille,
want to see if I can read
after Ollie.
it.
Braille is 6 dots, and I basically, what happens is you can download this off the internet if you want, and you can see the whole alphabet in Braille. And there's also the more complex ones that show you all the punctuation, like Ollie mentioned, the .6 for the capitals and all the other punctuation too. So the question is Braille difficult to learn?
Braille is a bit difficult in the beginning, But by using a 6-dot system and, shall I say, ping pong balls and half an egg carton, you can learn Braille quite easily. If my mom can go grab me the ping pong balls and egg carton, I can show you how to learn it quite easily.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we have 5 ping pong balls here, which is really all you need. It takes 6, but you don't really need 6, because right here is all you need. You only need...
Can you move your finger so we can see it?
You only need about 5, because the entire Braille alphabet is only consistent of 5 dots. You really don't need a 6th dot in the Braille alphabet. It gives you 6 because with a full cell of Braille there are contractions. So you use 6 in contractions. But when we're just doing the actual alphabet, so the actual letters, we only need really 5.
What's a contraction?
A contraction is basically the short form of a word in Braille.
Okay, can you give me an example?
Like, for example, if I had 6 of these, and I had one more to put in here, that'd be a full cell of Braille, which is the contraction FOR. F-O-R.
So if you see 6 dots when you're reading Braille, it means F-O-R, right? And so another example, there's ing for an ending.
True, ing is this. Dots. 4, 3, 6, I believe, yeah.
Okay.
Dots, 3, 4,
Well,
6.
actually, I'm looking at it upside down, but anyway, it's okay. There you go. Yeah. So, because it's 1, 2, 3 on the left and 4, 5, 6 on the right. Right.
That's 4, 6, 3.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
Yes. Action.
What items help you in your daily routine?
Well, of course, my cane, and so my mobility cane helps me, and tactile indicators, and Braille, of course, and different things like my phone and Siri, and a lot of different things.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your technology? You mentioned the Perkins Brailler, but what else do you use that is technology for Braille now?
I also use a thing called the Braille Note, which is like a computer kind of form of the Brailler. It does everything digitally, so it's
a bit like a Chromebook, but with Braille, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't have it at home today to show them, right?
No.
Okay. Okay, Ollie, the question is, have you developed some strategies to help you do stuff you typically wouldn't be able to do?
Yes, I have. Like, for instance, when I drop something, I can usually, instead of calling my parents to help me pick it up, I can use either my phone or something to help me look for it, or I could get on my hands and knees and search for it with my hands, or I could use my feet to feel around.
And so when you say use your phone, you mean use your phone with like an AI app or something, right?
Yes.
Like Be My Eyes or Seeing AI? Okay. And you've got something in front of you. You want to show an example of another thing.
This is an example of another thing. This is for when I'm pouring something.
Lift it up so we can see it.
This is for when I'm pouring something.
Okay.
In a glass.
Here, I'm going to get closer so they can see what it is.
It is a liquid level.
Okay.
So
show the back of it. Show the prongs. Okay.
So these prongs will detect when liquid is rising to the top of the cup.
So it goes on the edge of the cup.
So it goes on the edge of the cup. I'm going to move it out of the way so it's not a big deal for us. I'm gonna slow.
And you've got it on a tray. Why is it on a tray?
It's on a tray so that in case I do spill anything, it won't spill all over the place.
Very good. And what's it telling you?
It's telling me that the glass is full.
Excellent. So that you don't spill. And then you take a good drink. So that's how it's done.
Tap water.
Okay, the question is, does your disability affect your studies?
Yes, it does. What happens is I can't use a regular sheet like normal kids can. If the teacher hands out some kind of worksheet, I can't use it because it's in print. So what they do is they send it to my Braille teacher or my vision itinerant, Miss Dawn, and she brailles it so that I may read it and know what the task is to work on it. There's also different things they can do, like if it's on technology or something, and I have an EA with me, an educational assistant, they can help me read off of the doc what it is.
So Ollie, the next couple of questions deal with information around school and studying. So the question is, do you feel uncomfortable while studying?
No, I don't feel uncomfortable ever. They make me feel very included at my school.
And that was the next question. Is your school inclusive? And you have a brand new school that you've only just started last week.
But this school is very inclusive. I know for a fact because this is one of the only 2 schools in Canada or in Ottawa.
In Ottawa, yeah.
Who are getting Braille plaques on the doors for me to find my way to different classrooms.
Right. So we're going to work on all the other schools in the city to get them too, but they're wonderful because they've volunteered to get them for you this year, which is pretty awesome. Yes. And what about the students? How are you finding the students in terms of inclusivity?
The students are very kind. They're also very welcoming, and there's also a lot of other students with some physical and mental disabilities at this school as well. So they're all very inclusive and know that it's important to be kind to one another despite the differences between us.
Yeah, and your former school was like incredibly inclusive. They were amazing, right? So we're pretty lucky. The next question is, are there things that help you with your disability at school? And if so, what are those?
Well, there's a lot of different things. Like I said, my vision itinerant helps me with a lot of those different things. And there are adaptable equipment for when I do gym, and like adaptable sports equipment. So some more examples are for gym. Like I said, I have special equipment like special audible balls, and for different things like if I wanted to write a document or go on the internet and use my, technology, I have the Braille note for that and a lot of different resources at my disposal.
How do you find your locker now that you're in middle school or junior high?
It's a bit tough to find my way around, but using special tactile markers, we've made it possible for me to find my way around.
Yeah, and they do that with your classrooms too, so you know which ones are yours, right?
Yep. Although unfortunately, somebody's already started to peel off the
have they
the special tactile indicators. So it was only like the first day, and right after the first day, the thing for the math classroom was already gone and taken. My vision itinerant was none too impressed.
Probably because they don't understand what they're for yet,
she
right?
was she was none too impressed. She was like, "Where did this go? It lasted like a day and then it disappeared."
That's pretty funny.
She was very exasperated at that.
That's funny. Okay. The question is, do you hope to undergo surgery to regain your vision?
No, I probably won't. I like my blind life as is. If the surgery was possible, I might take it, but probably not, because I like my blind life as is. It's a good life. And plus, I get many other perks that I don't get when I'm sighted.
What kind of perks?
Like, for instance, my CNIV card allows me to get on OC Transpo for free.
OC Transpo is the local bus service, yeah,
And
or transit service.
Not to mention, it gives me a legal fishing license, too.
That's true. Free fishing license in the province of Ontario when you have blindness.
And I get a guide dog, too, which is so nice, because you get a dog and a pet, and technically your parent can't refuse it.
This is very true.
When you're 18 years old and you're getting a guide dog, your parents can't refuse it even if you're living in their house.
Right. And also, maybe do you want to talk a little bit about some of the advocacy that you do?
I do a lot of different advocacy. So a lot of different advocacy for disabilities and for blindness. And a lot of different things.
So what does advocacy mean?
Advocacy means to, shall I say, come out and talk about what is important in the world of whatever you're talking about.
Right. And so what do you advocate for when you do advocacy in the vision loss community? What do you advocate for?
I usually advocate for better resources for blind people in schools and for more adaptable sports and a lot of different things.
And how do you feel about that advocacy? How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel good to contribute to this great city that we already have. And don't get me wrong, it's so great because Ottawa is actually one of the cities that are province, I guess, that have the most adaptable sports at this point in time. A lot of other provinces and cities don't have as many adaptable sports as we do, but we still advocate to get more adaptable sports here and in other places.
Yeah, that's true. And also, when you do your advocacy, you talked about Ottawa, but you actually do it on a provincial basis, which is in Ontario, and also you do it nationally because you do a lot of work with the CNIB, which I know the kids have studied. And CNIB is a national organization. They are across Canada, and you've had great opportunities to be featured in like commercials and in to do a lot of their big fundraising events and
Granted,
all kinds
I do
of
a lot
things.
of advocacy that's also based on different things too.
True. Yeah. You do advocacy both for vision loss and for childhood cancer awareness.
And I also do advocacy for different
Organizations
and
That's
resources and sports too.
You sure do. The next question is, what would you want to see if you had the chance to see normally for a day?
What would I want to see? The one thing I'd want to see is maybe a TV show or something, I guess, interesting.
Like what? What would be interesting?
For instance, what would be interesting to see is if I could see, let's say, my room or something for one more time.
What, you don't want to see your mom? That isn't what you would choose?
And my family. And probably my dog. Because because I'd also sometimes I imagine her as golden, but she's actually black.
She's a black lab. That's right.
So it's kind of funny, and just a lot of different things I might want to see.
Now, just on the subject of seeing TV shows, do you watch TV at all now?
I do watch TV. Most of it is either audio described or my dad basically just describes it to me, for me.
Right. And when you go to the movie theater, how do you see a movie?
I see a movie because they have special headphones and this special box that they hook up. And it basically gives audio description during the movie.
Right. And
So, yeah.
not all movies, but a lot of movies are audio described now.
Well, it's not really the movies that are audio described. It's the theaters that don't have the audio description.
Yes, well, that is part of
Because
it.
technically the movies, any movie can be audio described. It's not that they can't. It's just the fact that it depends on what theater you go to, because some theaters have the audio description option and some don't.
Very true.
And that is why.
Okay, the question is, do you have a dream of having some additional help that you can't get right now? And they give an example of a guide dog, but obviously, is there any other additional help that you would like to have? It's rolling.
Well, I personally just dream of, having a guide dog, just like you said, and probably just, I don't really know what else. There's not really much else. The one thing I have always wanted is pretty much just a guide dog. They're cute, they're fluffy, and they're also very helpful.
You also have joked around, one of the other things we talk about, and as you cruise into your teenage years, you're concerned about is that you won't be able to drive. And so one of the other things
Well, yeah, that's also one of the other things I might want is an adaptable car that I can
like a self-driving car,
Yeah.
right? You thought that would be cool to have. Now, I don't know whether or not they'd let you sort of cruise around in it, but we know in different countries in the US, like San Francisco, for example, they're testing them as like, driverless cabs and things like that. So it might be possible for you one day to have your own.
Yay.
Pretty cool, eh?
I wonder if my parents would help me pay for it.
Well, if it were legal, maybe we would. Ollie, do you have any last words that you'd like to leave the class with?
I would like to leave the class knowing one thing, that blindness really doesn't mean anything. Despite the fact that we can't see, we still can do everything just as well as you guys can, and that it's important to never lose hope despite what kind of challenges you face.
That's great. And so if the class has any other questions, can they send you some back?
Yep.
All right.
I am free to take any other questions.
Great. So thanks, class, for being interested. And we'll hopefully hear from you again.
Bye.